Hey everybody, it's me, your girl. Hey, holla. You know what I thought about? I was like, is this cheetah print or not? Like, because it's so matching semi. Anyways, one day I'm gonna like do a tutorial on like cheetah print, whatever, and like show y'all how I do it. It's gonna be cheetah print eyeshadow. Anyways. So today was my I'm talking about when I was held at gunpoint before. I was held at gunpoint, and let me tell you the story. So it was probably about 8 years ago. I was like freshly out of high school. I graduated early because I went through homeschooling, because that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time that I'm gonna tell you. It's very, very juicy. Anyways, so I got out of high school early, and I used to hang out with my homegirl, and somebody had hit me up from, I've known this person for quite some time, we were phone buddies, we talked on the phone a lot, and they had hit me up, and I just happened to be at my homegirl's house that I'm at all the time, so I'm at her house, and he's like, oh, let's hang out or whatever, and I'm like, okay, let's hang out. So he tells me where he's at. So I get there. It's him and this other guy. It's a gun on the table. I come in. I'm just talking to him, just being casual. He starts talking about how, like, he's a pimp and how he has all these women. And he's, like, showing me pictures of them. He's, like, going through his phone. He's like, this is Veronica. This is Natasha. This is Tanisha. He was like, so anyways, what I do is I have these girls, and I take them to where they need to go, and they strip, and they go on dates, and they make money, and then they give me a portion, I give them a portion, because I'm protecting them. I make sure that they get into the strip clubs, nobody's bothering them. I make sure that when they get in those rooms with the guys, that I'm in the closet, or I'm somewhere visible where if anything pops off, I'm able to step in and intervene or whatever. He's like, these girls make like $1,000 a week, and honestly, he was like, you don't have to, have sex or anything. He was like, you can just go on dates with them. We can just figure something out from there. There's old men who just want somebody to just take them on a date. So you're pretty enough, we'll go ahead and set you up and get you started. So in my mind, I'm like, at the time, I think I was probably working 2 jobs. I was working at HEB in the airport. It was exhausting. I got maybe 3 hours of sleep a night, like not even, because I had to wake up at 5 in the morning, and then HEB closed at, was it 1 a.m.? So I left 1 a.m., went home, went to sleep. After I got ready and stuff to get into bed, it was like 1:45 too. Wake up at 4 because I have to be at work at 5. So I didn't have a lot of sleep. So anyways, my days are really, really exhausting, and so in my mind, this idea felt awesome. I was maybe 17, 16. I'm not exactly sure how old I was. I was pretty young. I did, I was dating my husband at the time, my ex-husband. We were dating, and he was in his dorm or whatever in Alvin, and I just happened to be an hour away. So I'm in there, he's telling me this good stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. He's like, well, let me go ahead and show you, some things. He takes me to the back room. I'm being naive and young at the time, and I'm just kind of like, okay, let's see those things, right? So we get in the room, and he's just like all over me. Like, he was like damn near trying to rape me. He was trying to make me have sex with him. He was all over me. He was like, no, you have to have sex with me. Like, if you're gonna work for me and I'm gonna be your pimp, I have to try the product out. And I was just kind of like, I don't want to have sex with you. I kind of put on this like innocent girl thing, like, oh my he wasn't my husband at the time, but I was like, my boyfriend's the only person I've ever been with. I don't want to do anything like that, and stuff like that. Okay, cool. But then he kept on pursuing, to have sex with me, and this was something I just did not want at the time. And so what ended up happening was, I completely distanced myself, and I left. Went to my homegirl's house. She stayed right in the same apartment complex, and I told her about what happened. My homegirl was a hothead, and honestly, like, she's cool, I love her to death, but she was a hothead. She's one of them girls that, in my mind, I felt like I didn't want to tell her because I knew that she might do something, So anyways, so I told my other homegirl who was there with us, or her at the time, and I was like, please don't tell Jessica, blah, blah. And she ended up telling Jessica anyway. She's like, let me tell you what happened. So the other girl's like, well, we're gonna get in that car and go kick his ass, you know. And I'm just kind of like, no, don't do that, you know. But they, you know, where's he stay? Where's he at? Come on, where's he at? Come on, let's get it done. We're going right now. And I'm just kind of like, you know, being the innocent bystander, like, oh no, you know, we can't go. I'm scared. Anyway, so we get to the door, and Jessica kicks on the door, loud, boom, boom, right? Okay, boom, boom, loud as hell, right? So no one answers. So I think the other girl and Jessica both boom, 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 kicking at the door. So he opens the door. What the fuck, nigga? What the fuck's going on, right? And Jessica was like, why you put your hand on my cousin or whatever? You know, why are you trying to force her to have sex with you? You gotta force somebody to have sex with you because you can't get no pussy? Anyway, excuse my language, but that's kind of what was said. And he was like, man, nah, man, fuck y'all, bro, blah, 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 blah. Back and forth. They were going back and forth. Now, Jessica and the other girl were ruthless. You know, they're all up in his face. They're, you know, blah, blah, blah. So he had walked back in the house. And in my mind, automatically, I knew this nigga got a gun. I'm like, you guys, let's go. Like, come on, let's go. You know, I'm trying not to say it out loud because I don't want to give him, like, let me get my gun. Like, you know. He walks back in the house, and immediately I felt like, oh my god, he's gonna get a gun. Let's go. So he walks back out. He has the gun in his hand, you know, and he's pointing it at me. And he said, I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch, right? And I'm like, and he's high off of whatever. You can definitely tell it was in his eyes. I don't know what the hell he had. It had to have been stronger than weed. I don't know. But the nigga was high. His eyes were bloodshot red. And the way that he was, you know, acting kind of seemed a little erratic. So he pulls the gun out. My homegirl is in front of me. My other homegirl, and then me. He obviously pulled it straight at me, you know, and I was just kind of like, you guys just shut up, you know, let's go. So he's pulling out the gun, and, you know, he's like in the face of my homegirl like this. He was like, well, look, there's a gun. Okay. So like this. And he was like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. She was like, if you was gonna shoot me, you would have shoot me already. Pussy ass, nigga ass bitch. I was like, you don't tell somebody that who has a gun. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's in your face. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, so he's sitting up here. I guess he's heated at this point. Like, oh, well, you gonna try me and shit, right? Each one of us had the guns pointed at our face. I was obviously in the far, far back because I'm scary as hell. Like, I was like, I'm not allowed to be shot. So anyway, so this guy who I guess was one of his drug dealer people or his pimp person, helper person, comes out, you know, and puts him in a chokehold, like has his hands pinned back like this and has his head pinned up like this and tosses him in the house. I guess he had to restrain the nigga. It took him quite some time. You know, I'm kind of like, you guys, we got to go. Like, if this nigga already took him inside the house, like, was our Captain Save-A-Ho, we need to go. Excuse me about all the cussing in this, you know, video. I'm sorry. I don't normally cuss all the time, but it's kind of like what happened. So, pins him up, takes him in the house, you know, restrains him some type of way. I'm not exactly sure we managed to get away. Now, the whole situation to me was just kind of stupid and ignorant. It's kind of like, dude, like, first of all, they be tripping. So a lot of times people, you know, act off of anger and impulse versus just staying chill about situations and letting it go. You know, and I think it's, you know, we overreacted in that situation. And, you know, and second off, you know, he obviously needed to grow up as a person, you know, obviously, because, you know, if you're a grown man and you are a responsible man, I don't know if that responsible is the word, but you wouldn't have a gun at a couple of females' face. I'm pretty sure that he will remember that for the rest of his life, and I'm pretty sure every single one of us will remember it as well. So anyways, we leave or whatever in some type of way. I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but his homeboy somehow had reached out to me because I was stranded at the time. Like, I needed the money. His homeboy reached out to me and was kind of like, you know what, like, I know that he put you through a whole bunch of problems. Like, let me go ahead and try to get some money together, and I'm gonna send you the $50 or whatever the fuck that he was gonna give you. And I was like, okay, cool. Anyways, I never got that $50. I never dealt with this man ever again. And that person who was my friend, who had me at gunpoint, at some point we were pretty tight. Me and him have not spoken since that night. After that night, I have not heard from him. I've not seen him on Facebook. I don't know what his status is. I don't know what he has going on. He could be locked up for all we know. I mean, you know, he was doing the illegal drugs, the, you know, human trafficking damn near, you know. But I'm just so happy that I'm out of that situation, that I don't live in those environments anymore or deal with people like that anymore. Like, my life is completely different. It could have really turned into a whole different situation for my life. You know, I probably would have been, you know, maybe a stripper, maybe, you know, doing things that I shouldn't be doing. But anyway, so in certain situations you have to like wake up, and then you learn like, oh my God, like this happened for a reason. It was kind of like a wake up call, like, Shantora, you should not be, you know, doing that, you know. And I'm not faulting anybody who does it, because I'm sure that people do it. And if you do it and you love what you do what you do. I'm always gonna say this. I'm always gonna say, stay true to who you are. And if you have to do it, you have no other choice. Do what you have to do, and don't let anybody judge you. But I'm just saying, like, in this situation, for my life, you know, I wouldn't have been the person that I am had I had went down that road. And I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that I have met in my life thus far had I had went down that road. And I probably would be a completely different person than I am today. That's my story on being held at gunpoint. I remember my homegirl, Jessica, was very upset. You know, we called her mama. She called her mom and told her and things like that. And I think that she even started to cry. You know, this was very, very, you know, I think that it can really mess with people, for someone to have a gun at your face like that and really be ready to shoot you. Y'all have a nice day. Remember, stay positive and think about the people that you choose to have in your life, and always stay motivated. Always do what's best for you. Always think about certain situations that you're in, and live your life to the fullest, because life is now or never. We only have one life. Y'all have a nice day, and I love y'all so much. And subscribe and like my shit, y'all. Like, subscribe and like my shit. Let's motivate and encourage each other. I love y'all so much. Y'all have a nice day. Mwah.